Last week on 17th of June 2020, Twitter has rolled out a feature called audio tweet, something like that. And they rolled it out to test it on a few people on iOS, and it's a new feature that they want to push out there, it seems. And basically on their blog post that they have entitled Your Tweet, Your Voice, they have said that sometimes 280 characters aren't enough, and some conversational nuances are lost in translation. Don't we know it? So starting today, we are testing a new feature that will add a more human touch to the way we use Twitter, your own voice. The way it works is that you record your voice on the file on the app, and then it will attach to a tweet. You write your message, you see a waveform of audio file there, and you can read the message and then press play on the audio file on that tweet itself. It lasts around 140 seconds, but if you have more to say, and some of us talk too much, then you can just keep on talking and it will create like an audio tweet thread. So the idea sounds nice, doesn't it? It sounds like a nice feature. You get lost in translation less often, and maybe it's just something that people would like, add a bit of more human touch to it. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I tell you what goes wrong. I can't hear it. Before we go into the topic, make sure you check out my Patreon page if you do fancy supporting the channel for as little as $3 a month. That's it. This will help me to make sure that I can continue creating content like this and to bridge the gap between deaf and hearing people, and just share the good stuff that I have to as many people as possible. Straight away when they have announced that, what I was looking for is some information about how am I going to access that information, because I'm not going to be able to hear it, and there doesn't seem to be any way of accessing that content, which means they are inaccessible for people like me and many other people. And because of that, people were not happy. I was one of them. I got very frustrated when I saw that, and I did not like that feature one bit. So basically I just tweeted out saying, great, another content that is inaccessible as well on the internet. That's what we need, more of them. And it's not just me who has expressed their frustration. So many people have spoken up about it, and so many people could not believe, why would you release something like this and not have it accessible in a certain way, whether it's transcript or caption or encouraging people to do that? Nothing, absolutely nothing. People have spoken up, especially the deaf and hard of hearing people. They have spoken up on Twitter, and man, there was a bit of an outcry about that, and people just didn't like it. They just expressed their annoyance and frustration, and it's something that happens again and again and again. They are left behind, or people who are not able to access certain information or don't have the accessibility requirement met, they are left behind. They are pushed aside because it's deemed not important. So people get frustrated, and you can imagine that's how I feel and that's how they feel, because it's, again, we are being ignored. And because of that, a few people on Twitter have decided to speak up, which is amazing, really good of them. Two people in particular have spoken up. One of them is part of the product design team, Patterson, and she released an audio tweet thread, but also added transcript, very nice, and she basically put her own personal response to the deaf and hard of hearing community. I would advise you to check out that Twitter thread. I'll put the link in the show notes in the description, and you can check it out yourself. But basically, the long story short is that she realizes that it's just not right. She didn't think about those little things. She didn't think about the feature that will be necessary, like accessibility requirement. She listened. She said, you know what? This is not right. I want to fix this. I want to do it right. And she felt bad about that, and she apologized for it as well. And it seemed quite genuine, it seemed quite honest, and I was quite impressed with that. And I responded saying, I appreciate what you're saying, I really do. And also I want to say it's not her fault directly, because she had to work in that system. Another person within Twitter, I think his name is Dantley Davis, and he's the head of design, and he also apologized, and he made it clear that we should have it accessibility from the beginning of all projects, and he wants to do something about it. And that tweet has also been supported by the Twitter support Twitter account, if you like, and they have also expressed their frustration as well, and they listened up and they said, you know what, we messed up, we hear you, we want to do something about it. Again, it's great to see that people spoke up, and people should do that more often, and I'm glad they have spoken up. And one thing that I wanted to clarify with both of them and people in a similar situation is that I'm not blaming the individuals concerned. I'm not blaming them directly, because I blame the system more on Twitter. Whatever system they have in place, they have to work in that system and they just have to go with it. And if that's their system and they can't really change it, or they can't go around it, or they can't make it better, then we can't blame the individuals concerned. We should be looking at the system in place on Twitter. Why accessibility is not an important part of their team. Why is it not thought of from the beginning? It seems to be ignored, and it's not the first time they've done that. They've done it time and time again. When reading more about it, I have also found out that the Twitter accessibility relies on employees who volunteer their time. That's according to one of the engineers working there. And basically what he's saying is that we have this thing where we have employees doing their thing, and then in their spare time they do a bit of accessibility. So it's not something that they specialize in, it's just a little extra thing that they do whatever free time that they have on their normal job, which is mind-boggling. I'm so baffled by that. What they're saying is they don't have a dedicated accessibility team, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. There are so many people out there, they have spoken up. They are the accessibility experts, the advocates, the people who know these stuff, and they have just shout out about it from a rooftop. Why do you not have this from the beginning? Why do you not have the right team in place? All these things. But Twitter didn't have it. And that's just so weird, because you think it's a normal thing to have for any major company, any major software company, to incorporate that and think about doing that before releasing anything new. But they didn't do that. It's not the first time that Twitter ran into accessibility problem. Most other social media platforms, they allow you to upload captions to the videos, but Twitter don't. At least they don't do anymore, because a few days after this whole thing about the audio tweet, suddenly they have seemed to have enabled the option of uploading captions to video to everyone. From what I understand, it seems to be that they have just allowed that feature to certain people. They allowed the option of caption to be uploaded to videos were only available to certain people, and then suddenly it's available to everyone. First of all, why now? I find a bit suspicious, especially after people spoke up. And also, why the hell would you just allow that feature to be only available to certain people? That should be available to everyone. Absolutely everyone should have that feature. But for some reason, it didn't work like that. Again, it seemed like a common sense, seemed like a basic accessibility thing to have. After things have settled down, it seems that they're going to relook at how to make it more accessible, and I understand that they're going to see about their whole system and how to make sure that accessibility is mentioned and thought of at the beginning of any projects, all projects. But for this audio tweet in particular, they're looking into what can they do about it. And I'm really curious to see what happens with that. And if I hear more, I will update it in the transcript. You can check it out in the description. One of my suggestions is to make it as easy as possible for people to have caption, because I know that people won't do it voluntarily, especially if there are barriers in front of them, and sometimes people just don't give a damn. You just can't be asked. So they just leave it aside, or they'll think about it later, or just ignore all these things. And it's important to make sure that captions are done as easy as possible. But that's not always the case for some people. They just can't be bothered. You only have to look at YouTube and how terrible most of the videos are in terms of their caption, because people just leave it on auto caption instead of either uploading a new one or editing the auto caption. Which brings me to one of my suggestions for Twitter, is to allow auto caption, but allow people to edit the auto caption so that they can upload it to that audio tweet. The same thing applies for the videos. At the moment, that option is not there for the videos, and it's not there for their early version of their audio tweet. That's something that they can think about. But the general moral of the story is that accessibility should be something that is thought of from the very, very beginning. Because I've got news for you. Accessibility is not an afterthought. Accessibility is not a luxury. Accessibility is not a nice to have. It's a must, and it should be thought of from the very beginning of any project. This is something that Twitter did not think about, and many other companies have not done this either. And to be honest, if you haven't done that, then you're going to have more headaches and you're going to waste a lot of time and money trying to add it at a later date, or you realize you've messed up and you have to fix it, all these things. So you're better off thinking about it from the beginning. And even for this particular situation about audio tweet, I have mentioned many times in the past about the benefits of having the likes of captions and transcript. Again, link in the description, you can check it out there. There are so many benefits to it, and even though in most occasions accessibility can be beneficial not for the minority but for the majority, for those really needing caption and transcript, there are so many benefits, and it's not just for deaf and hard of hearing people. Yes, we spoke up about it, but if you check out the link in the description about the benefits of captions and transcript, you'll realize that so many people can benefit from it. And if so many people benefit from it, then surely Twitter will see it like, you know what, because a lot of people will use it, a lot of people will look at the tweet and the videos, and if they can access it, then more people will engage with Twitter and they will engage with the tweets, and they have all these shares and things. Surely that's what Twitter and any software companies, any companies like this, they want people to use their products. Well then, listen to them, listen to us, listen to different people. Don't just leave it at the last minute or at a later stage. You will regret it in the long run. So hopefully Twitter will take this as a sign to say, you know what, we've messed up, let's do something about it so that it doesn't happen again in the future. And I hope other companies will also learn from this experience so that it doesn't happen to you as well, because you can see immediately what happened. Because of this mishap, people have spoken up, they're not happy about it, and they had to put in the extra effort again at a later date to fix it. You don't want to do that. There are so many accessibility experts out there, but even so, listen to people on social media, listen to me, talk to me, contact me, whatever it is. I'm here if you want to talk about it, but just don't leave it late. Don't leave it as an afterthought. Don't be doing what Twitter has done, which is basically they've messed up, and they've admitted that, which is great. Right, let's see what they're going to do about it, because at the end of the day, action speaks louder than words. Thank you for listening to my rant. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, and I hope Twitter will do something. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Click the like. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Is it a bad thing, as I really said, or does it not matter? I'm just curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I will speak to you again soon. Take care.